I'm just going to be talking through the science of why we should be chilling out, sleeping good, eating well, prioritising recovery, not going and doing your fucking HIIT cardio 4 times a week, not training 7 times a week, etc, etc. What we're going to be talking through today is the science behind your adrenal glands and progesterone steal. So we'll start off with your adrenal glands. As we can see here, study it, get it, got it, good. So as we can see here, we've got DHEA and cortisol. So both things your adrenal glands pump out. Your DHEA is basically the precursor or whatever's made before and turns into your androgens, which are your testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. So say today we'll specifically focus on women. So testosterone is not to be something to be scared of for women. It's a necessary component. Estrogen and progesterone are obviously very necessary for your menstrual cycle, which we'll be coming on to. Cortisol is basically released by the adrenal glands in response to stress. That stress is either good or bad. So a good stress that you would perceive a good stress to be is your training, but still your body releases cortisol, and it's not a bad hormone or anything. We need cortisol to survive, but obviously too much of it is a bad thing, too little of it is a bad thing. So we have acute stress and long-term stress. Acute is short-term stress. So an acute stressor would be like, I don't know, you just got bollocked by your boss, but it's all good the next day. So that's an acute stress. Your DHEA, your androgens are fine, everything's fine and dandy, you're recovered. Long-term stress, you're going through a breakup, something like that, or you're just mismanaging your recovery, you're constantly overtraining, etc. This is where we start to see high cortisol, which is a high chronic stress. You'll see it in your you'll get inflamed, you'll get more stress, and this will basically down-regulate your DHEA, so it'll down-regulate your progesterone, your testosterone, especially obviously a trigger word in males. Yes, the more stressed you are, the lower your testosterone will be. What this will do, obviously, low sex drive, any androgens, low sex drive, all that sort of thing. And then after a really long time or under chronic stress, your adrenal glands will bottom out, you'll have low cortisol, and you won't be able to be aroused by anything. Aroused in the sense of, if a truck was coming at you, you wouldn't really feel anything. You wouldn't have that response to jump out the way or anything. And also, as a cofactor, you'd have low testosterone, low estrogen, low progesterone. So your adrenal glands, good timing that dropped, are split into 3 zones. Glomerulosa, fasciculata and reticularis. Big words, but we're going to make it simple. So these 3 zones, basically, they just make up the adrenal gland, but under stress we can see progesterone steal, which basically means your progesterone bottoms out, and for a woman we need progesterone to function, to facilitate the second phase of your cycle, which can help obviously with your period and all that sort of thing. So under chronic stress, your adrenal glands will pull their resources basically, or they won't focus on 2 of the glomerulosa and the reticularis, so the glomerulosa is responsible for management of basically aldosterone, which bodybuilders will manipulate to play with water retention and sodium handling, which is why when you're stressed, you see your water retention shoot up and you just look a lot more bloated, etc. And then with your reticularis, resources are pulled away from there, so this is why we see the low testosterone, low progesterone, etc. And then all the focus is put onto cortisol, and this is why you see your adrenal gland pumping out cortisol for a long period of time. So your progesterone steal, what you might see, or your low progesterone, your symptoms is heavy PMS. So like, just painful periods. What else? What else? Headaches, etc. All that sort of stuff. Your periods, like, fuck me. So you get your random periods, like infrequent periods or no period at all, which can be caused by progesterone steal. And the whole idea of this is because when under stress, your body knows it's not an optimal environment for you to procreate, have a baby, etc. So, and that's not important right now. It's trying to pull all its resources away from that, so as to protect your body. So that's why you see the symptoms. So this is why it's very important to manage stress. Don't overtrain, manage your sleep, and just chill fuck out basically. So yeah, that's the science behind it. Just chill. Okay then. Alright then.